Hey friends, if you're looking for quick tips to help you jumpstart your week, you are in the right place. I'm Lori Palau, host of the popular weekly podcast Organized Life, founder of Simply Be Organized, and every Monday I am here to bring you a quick organizing tip in under 15 minutes. All you have to do is click the subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening, and let's get started. Hi everybody, and welcome to today's tip of the week. I'm your host, Lori Palau. And I'm so glad that you're here. If you're listening to this in real time, we've made it to the end of February, guys. Almost 2 months down in 2024. And if you're like me in the Northeast, that means that you are in the throes of the winter doldrums, which means that we are not only um, probably itching to get outside, but we are tired of looking at our stuff because we are in our house. And if you are a parent with small kids, you know that you're probably also, excuse me, tired of looking at their stuff. We are coming obviously off of the heels of all the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, and all the things. And our playrooms or the kids' rooms or your living rooms or wherever it is oftentimes looking like a um, bomb exploded. And I remember back in the day, just walking in on like a snow day or a day that I was inside because it was too cold to be outside and just wanted to take a big trash bag and just sweep it all up. All the Legos, all the little pieces, all the games, all of it. And guys, I'm a fairly organized person. So I know that it caused me stress. So I can only imagine that you guys are listening and feeling like I just want to get rid of all of it. But before you do that, today's little mini episode is designed all about giving you three very specific, actionable things of how you can declutter kids' toys and games and why now is a good time to do it. So, this obviously runs the gamut. We've got kids of all ages and spectrums from newborn all the way up to like teenagers and all the interests of things. So whether you're dealing with, big ride on kid toys, you're dealing with, Barbies and all the little things, Legos or video games and, accoutrements all over the place, all of it matters. Like all of it, whatever season you're in, it's all a different type of stress. So, want to just talk about why I think this time of year is a great time. I always say that, first of all, there's never a bad time to organize, right? It's always a good time. If you feel stressed out about something and something's giving you a pain point right now, then I think you should address it. I don't think that you should have to wait to spring cleaning or wait till back to school or whatever. Yes, those are like key pocket times, but there's no reason that at the end of February, especially if you are inside on a cold weekend or you have a snow day and you have a little extra time, why you can't tackle an organizing project. So I think now is a great time to do that. Also, a lot of times your kids are home and they're involved. Where we are right now might be, depending on where you live, you might be in between the sports seasons. And that's always a good time because I know for a lot of parents, once kind of spring sports and activities kick into high gear, you are like drinking from a fire hose. And so you're not even home and your home becomes a dumping ground. So this right before the calm before the storm, people, is a great time to tackle those kids' toys and games. Likely your kids got stuff for the holidays and they had all these must have games and things, and all now the novelty is worn off. So they've played with them, they've done all the things, and now for a lot of kids, they're like, okay, I'm done with it. I'm over it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I'm always preaching to people before Christmas and all the things to declutter to make room for the new influx of things that are going to be coming in. I recognize that life is busy and not everybody has the opportunity to do that. So, for those of you who are like, yeah, I really, in a perfect world, wanted to declutter before the new stuff came in to make room for it, I never really got to it. So now I've got old toys layered on top of new toys. So it is, you can't even see what you have. And then there's this other mounting kind of layer, almost like a dark cloud that hangs over us. And I think that has to do for me with that whole, whose responsibility is it? Is it the kid's responsibility? Is it the parent's responsibility? Should I be making the decision? Should I be leaving it up to my kids? And I am a big believer that it's a both and. I think it's really important as parents that you set boundaries for your kids and get them involved in the process. I've said it many times before. I think there's a lot of things that can backfire from throwing things out in the dark of night. We've all, at one point or another, probably have been there and done that, present company included. But there is so much value in getting your children, even at a really young age, involved with the sorting and the purging or the editing and decluttering of stuff that they are no longer playing with. Even if it means that you're binning it up and saving it for a younger sibling that might be playing with it down the road, having them understand the kind of the space ratio as well as a volume ratio is really, it's an important skill that is never too early to teach, in my opinion. I also think that it is our responsibility as parents to make some executive decisions about boundaries of space and stuff. So I've oftentimes gone into clients' homes and they are just leaving it entirely up to the kids. And the kids don't have a roadmap of what that looks like. So they don't even know how to discern what to keep and what to get rid of because they don't have the cognitive development to make those decisions. So it is our responsibility as parents to go in there and make some executive decisions about what the space is going to look like, what we want it to feel like, what our kids are playing with, what we know they're not playing with, and just the volume of stuff that we're going to have and how it's going to impact our moods and our ability to let our kids be creative. Because we want our kids to be able to do pretend play and enjoy their space and not be surrounded by clutter. And I always say to a lot of parents who are struggling with that frustration as they walk past, whether it's the kids' room or the playroom or the living room or wherever kind of your kids' zone is, and it stresses them out. And I say, remember that our kids struggle with decision fatigue as well. If they can't find their stuff or they don't know what to play with first because are overstimulated with all the things, that can also lead to unnecessary stress, anxiety, frustration. And what I've seen a lot of times is it makes kids not want to be in their space. It makes them not want to be in their playroom. When I am working with somebody and we're redoing a playroom and we are editing out, one of the common themes, regardless of age, gender, whatever, is there's a lot of white space that we leave, a lot of room for kids to be creative, to spread out on a floor or on a table and be able to just like have that area that is not filled with physical stuff. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a boy, girl, or whatever the age is. When we redo it and it is has all of that, everything as a home, and there is open space for them to play, they want to be in that space. And I've had more parents say to me, oh my gosh, my kid hasn't wanted to play in here in so long. Well, part of that has to do with the fact that when you're in a space that is filled with clutter, you as an adult probably don't want to be there. So it's not unheard of that your kid would not want to be there as well. So think about it from their perspective. I always tell people, get down on your hands and knees, get down to their level and see what they're seeing. And if it is stressing you out, there's a large chance that is stressing them out. The only difference is they don't have the language to articulate what that looks like. And so it's our responsibility to try to create that environment for them and teach them, involve them in that process, but create that environment that makes it conducive for them to want to play and be creative and have room to swap in different stuff at different times, right? So right now we're in a season of playing Legos, we'll pull the other stuff out. And then we're in a season of doing something else, we'll pull that out. And so again, it's a fluid process. So again, just to kind of summarize it up, end of February, great time to tackle toys, games, or all, if you're in the winter months here in the US, great time. Many of us are inside anyway. Take a little time, work on one small area, get them involved, and just paint a picture of what they want their space to feel like, what they want it to be like, what would be an inviting space for them to want to spend time and create that. So I hope you guys found this episode useful and practical. If so, I'd love it if you'd share it with a friend. The more people that listen to our show, the better. It is how we are able to continue to grow each and every week. So please feel free to click the share button with all of your people wherever you are listening or watching. So I'll be back on Thursday, which is leap year, with a very special episode. Until then, I'm Lori Palau. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please spread the love and share it with your friends. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure to click the subscribe button wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, please leave us a review so other people know that our show is worth the listen. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at This Organized Life Podcast. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can head on over to our website at simply the letter B like boy organized.com, which is filled with tons of resources, including free downloads, checklists, links to our amazing organizing partners, and all of our digital offerings. I'll see you next week for another episode of This Organized Life.